You must have left something out.
No, Mom. Listen. There's a little father, and they have a wreck. Now, the father is killed. Okay? The little boy is hurt. They rush him to the hospital.
You sure do have a morbid sense of humor.
Mom, you're not even listening. Now, the surgeon rushes in and stops suddenly and says, I can't operate on this patient. This patient is my child.
It just doesn't make any sense.
The surgeon is his mother.
And?
The surgeon is his mother. That's the joke.
Well, all I can say is I wouldn't want my child operated on by a lady doctor.
Hey! How can you say that when you know that Helen has just been accepted to med school?
Helen, I'm proud of you getting into med school. I know it's going to be a wonderful experience for you.
I know. You're thinking, maybe she'll marry a nice young doctor, right?
Well, since you can read my mind, there's just no point in my saying anything else.
Well, then put that down. We'll do that later.
You know what I was really thinking? I was thinking, my Helen, a doctor, in one of those white uniforms. White? How would she ever keep it clean? You were the sloppiest, the dirtiest little girl I ever saw.
It wasn't just me. Remember how Drew used to cry when you made her put a dress on?
I did?
I remember that.
Sure you did. You had to be exactly like your big sister. Anything Helen did, Dewey did. My two tomboys.
Yep. Me and my little shadow.
At least in med school, you won't have time for any of that women's lib politics, or whatever you call it. Those women are so hard and unattractive.
What women, Mother?
Hey, you two. Let's not start in again, okay? You know exactly what I'm talking about, Helen.
I know. You disapprove of me. You always have.
Well, that's so silly, I'm not even going to answer it. I only want you girls to be happy. Now, that is all I care about.
I didn't want to go through it by myself.
Ah! Hey, what's the plans?
Drew, you have turned this place into a jungle.
Oh. Are you okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine, really. I'm a little depressed. I come home for one weekend and Daddy immediately sits down in front of the TV. And Mom starts in with her, I only want you to be happy routine. I only want you to be happy. That's all I care about. How many times, give or take 100, do you think she said that to us?
Helen, she does want you to be happy.
Sometimes I think she's jealous. And that's why we don't get along.
Hey, Mom likes her life.
Do she think she likes her life?
So? What's the difference?
Baby, the whole point is that 95% of the women in this country go around thinking that they like their lives. And then 25 or 30 years later, they wake up
No
and
more, Helen, please. Look, just don't keep harping on it.
All right, I won't. so. So? Well?
So, how's your love life? Are you still going with that guy?
Which guy?
No, the one that's going to be a lawyer.
Howard. No. Yeah. He wanted to get serious. I mean, we were serious, but, you know.
So, why'd you break up?
Well, for starters, he wanted me to do his laundry. Can you believe it? I guess the whole thing was my schoolwork was more important to me than he was. And he didn't like that at all.
Well, then it's probably a good thing that you broke up with him.
Yeah, that's what I think. As a matter of fact, to tell you the truth, he broke up with me. Listen, it wasn't that bad. In a way, it was kind of liberating. Sure, it hurt at first. But my schoolwork was more important to me. And that was 6 months ago. I've gone out a lot since then, and I've been having a good time. I guess I heal pretty easy.
I'd really feel terrible if Norman and I broke up.
Norman? You've practically been going together for half your lives.
So? You always liked Norman.
You owe yourself more than that, Drew. You know what? You're turning out to be a really terrific person. When you get to college, you are going to meet so many men. Drew, I'm not going to college. But
I am not going to college.
Drew, you didn't get turned down.
No, I got accepted. But I've thought about it a lot, and I don't want to go.
You are off your rocker.
No, I'm not. It's simple. I don't like school. I mean, I never did like school. The only reason why I got halfway decent grades was because I always had to keep up with you.
Do Mom and Dad know about this?
Well, I've talked about it with Mom.
Sure. And she agreed, right? Well, she finally got to you. Well, now at least one of her daughters will do exactly what she did. Throw her life down the kitchen sink.
Hey, all you ever do is talk about what's wrong with everybody in this family. Who do you think you are, Helen?
I'm your sister. And I care about what happens to you. I just don't want to see you waste your life.
You know, for somebody who's so smart, you can really be stupid sometimes. I mean, you don't have to have a college education to be interesting or worthwhile or liberated.
All I ask is that you not tie yourself down to your first job, your first boyfriend, in one teeny tiny little town you've never even been out of in your whole life. You've got to give yourself a chance, Drew. How else are you going to find out who you are? and what you want.
Did you know that I used to practice your laugh? Really? I used to think that if I could only get your laugh right, that everything would be okay. Everything you did, I had to do too. But it's not like that anymore. In some really important ways, I'm not like you at all. I always thought that I was, but I'm not.
Look, it's your life. I only want you to be happy. Can you believe that? I just said to you what Mom always says to us.
Yeah.
But I do. Want you to be happy.
Well then. You're gonna have to stop telling me how to live my life.
All right. I will.
Good.
Not long ago, few young women thought of a career as anything more than a stopgap on the road to ultimate fulfillment in the traditional roles of wife and mother. Today, more and more women demand equality of opportunity, freedom of choice, and the right of every person to fulfill his or her potential. In the film, it's easy to laugh at the mother's negative attitude toward a woman doctor. But be honest, if you knew that you needed an operation and the surgeon turned out to be a woman, would it make a difference? Where do we get these fixed ideas of proper masculine and feminine roles? Are they based on real biological differences between men and women? Or are they hangovers from an earlier era, usually accepted without question? Is it only women whose lives are restricted by the pressures to conform to proper sex roles? Or are men's horizons also limited by fixed ideas of what is properly masculine? The film features two sisters, once very close, now moving in separate directions. One thing they still seem to share is the need for self-determination. Helen refuses to let her mother define her capabilities and limitations, and Drew refuses to let Helen define hers. Helen professes belief in self-determination, but does she practice it with Drew? If you believe someone you love is making a decision that may ruin her life, do you have the right to interfere? To use your influence any way you can? Do you believe that Drew is all that sure who she is and where she's going? Can't she know what she wants from life when she's experienced so little of the world? Should someone of 17 make important decisions that later may be hard to reverse?